Hi, Jay Ayers, Todd Mizener from the QCTimes and the Dispatch Argus here. I am here with our editor, I got to point that way, Matt Christensen, local boy made good. Matt, how are you?
Good. How are you, Todd?
I'm good. I'm good. So I wanted to talk to you today because you attended United Township High School. And so I think that these local kids would be able to relate to your experience.
Well, that was some time ago, but
Well,
once
true.
a Panther, always a Panther. So, yeah, sure.
You're the editor of two big newspapers now, or the local newspapers. But what kind of things did you do in high school to kind of get your journalism career started? If someone was interested in journalism right now, what was your path?
Well, my path was maybe a little bit unconventional from some other journalists because I wasn't born knowing that I wanted to work for newspapers. In high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I had a general interest in a lot of topics. So I think my method was to have a lot of broad experiences and to take advantage of a wide range of opportunities, not to focus too much on a singular thing. So, I wasn't that focused on papers other than delivering them. That was my first job when I was a kid, delivering papers over near Glenview Middle School, where I grew up. And I didn't get into journalism until I was in college. But I think what helped me prepare, though, was having the broad range of experiences, because in journalism you get pretty much every kind of topic thrown at you, and it's good to have just sort of an all around a background like that. So that was my experience.
So if someone has decided they want to be a writer, they want to be a journalist, what classes in high school would you suggest they take?
Again, I would say all, even math, because journalism is about communication and the truth, and I think in all of the academic pursuits, the essential goal of education is to find truth. That said, it doesn't hurt to be a pretty good writer, and to do that, writing takes practice, and so as much writing as you can, whether that's it doesn't have to be journalism, but just working with the English language and familiarizing yourself with how people communicate, using the written or printed word. Go ahead.
Do you think keeping a journal is a good idea?
Yeah, I mean, for writing purposes, sure. I think a lot of people do it for even, kind of mental health reasons, or just to track the course of their own lives, or to sort of work things out. And that's super helpful. But, any kind of writing I think is helpful, whether it's prose or, poems or screenplays or, skits, whatever it is. I think just the more you play with the language, the easier it gets to communicate the ideas that formulate inside your own head.
What was the moment you discovered you wanted to go into journalism when you were in college? What was that aha moment?
I had been undeclared for 2 years, and again, my first couple of years of college was about taking a wide range of classes. I was pursuing, thinking about going into horticulture, actually, to pursue a career as a turf grass manager, so like a golf course superintendent or somebody who manages a baseball field or football field, something like that, because I was working over at Short Hills at the time. But that required a little more math than I was willing to put in, I think, or that my brain is capable of. So, I was looking around for something to do with my life and kind of floating around in college. And my grandpa had been a journalist, and he sort of suggested that, I pop over to the the student paper and see what was going on over there, and maybe I'd be interested in that. And so it turns out the first piece I wrote was for a magazine, that the student magazine at Iowa State. But from there, it was a calling. It was like a light switch went off. I knew exactly what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. So I'm glad that I did not feel pressured or forced into selecting something before I was ready to do it. I think, my advice to folks would be, who aren't quite sure, who haven't felt that calling, is to just try some different things or explore some different things, do some job shadows, take some different electives that might put you out of your comfort zone, make some calls even. I did some job shadowing with some law groups because I had considered going to law school at one point, so I did some educational pursuits that were outside of the normal classroom that helped me finally settle on what I knew I wanted to do. And I'm really glad I did that, because I can't imagine myself doing anything different than what I'm doing right now. It truly, is a calling. And I think a lot of journalists feel that way. For some people, it hits them sooner than later. Me was a little bit later, but I'm glad that the timeline unfolded the way it did, because it shaped the experiences that I've had and, brought me to where I am today. So.
One final question. What's it like to be the editor of your hometown newspapers?
I apologize to English teachers for typos they may find in the newspaper. We do know the difference, but we're human beings, and human beings sometimes make little errors. But that's just, joking aside. I think it's extremely rewarding because, I love the Quad Cities, and I grew up here and had a chance to come back and raise my family here. And it's, I could be a lot of places, but this is the place I chose to be. And, that's special to me, to be able to be a custodian of the newspapers that I grew up reading now is an honor and something I take pretty seriously. So, like I said before, I can't imagine myself doing anything different, Todd. And, for me, this is a lot of things came together for me at the right places at the right times. And, I'm also extremely lucky, and I understand that too.
Well, Matt, thank you very much for joining us. I'm sure the JAers that are watching this got a lot of what you had to say. I thought it was fascinating. For me personally, it's like photojournalism was a calling really early. So that was the straight line. So there's multiple different ways to get into journalism or get into newspaper and get into communication. So I think your story is super helpful. So thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks, Todd. And, if anybody has any other questions or wants to find out more, I'm easy to find. Look me up online and shoot me a note. I'd be happy to engage with you. So thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you, sir.